When is it just a kids show, and when do we have to take things seriously? You know, I like to watch reviewers and ranters and all that, and they review kids things. The Mysterious Mr. Enter reviews SpongeBob and other kids shows, along with a few other not so kid-friendly materials, such as his most recent um, Ren Seek Help. Then there's the Nostalgia Critic, who reviews things, mainly movies that can, yes, they can be for children, and yes, they can be for adults. There are other critics and reviewers and ranters out there, and they do, from time to time, review things that we would usually consider kid stuff. However, what really irks me is when people go to the comments and say, "Oh, it's just a kids show, why not?" Because here's the thing. Going back to the Mysterious Mr. Enter, on his DeviantArt he will post scorecards for many of his atrocities, admirable animations, all that type of stuff. And for the atrocities, it'll have a little section, rancid morals. And, like lessons that they're trying to teach or what they're trying to get across as good, like something like good to do, something that's, you know, overall acceptable. And granted, shows are usually here to entertain. Very rarely are they here to teach a lesson. Now, for really little kids, the main goal is to teach a lesson. Like more modern little kids shows, they only exist really to teach social skills. I have not seen one where they're, teaching letters and numbers in a very long time. Not that I've been watching any. However, no matter what it is, if it's targeted at children, there is going to be some kind of moral, whether intentional or unintentional. Like, when I was younger, you're going to hear a lot of this. My favorite movie from Disney was probably Mulan. I loved Mulan. I loved her and I loved her movie. And I don't think that movie had the goal in mind to teach, more of just to adapt the story of Joan of Arc, but then, you know, put a few twists on it. However, I'm going to argue that there were a few morals in mind when creating this. Like, it showed that you can be strong even if you are a girl. It doesn't show, like, that you have to just keep wishing, you have to keep just hoping that things will get better, that you can, it shows that you can actually go out and do stuff. You can be strong, you can be independent, and even if the world doesn't accept you, you can still do things. And whether you're a man or a woman, your deeds, if they're good, will be remembered positively. So, even if that wasn't the goal of the movie, there's no denying that movie morals such as that have a fairly significant impact. Like, after that, I had wanted to grow up to be a strong person. Even to this day, I still wish I was more like Mulan, strong, fighting for what she believes in, honorable, all that type of stuff. So, thing is, that even if a show isn't trying to teach a moral, kids will get something out of it. Like, if they were to see a TV show where a kid gets in trouble for doing X, then he blames it on someone else, and then someone else gets in trouble and he gets off scot free and he gets no punishment whatsoever, kids might think that, oh, lying will solve my problems. And here's the thing. If you're going to try and argue that, keep this in mind. You know how kids sometimes will curse and then you ask them where you got it, and they say, "Oh, I saw it on TV," and then you have to say, "No, that's bad." See, kids will pick up on things, whether they're there intentionally or unintentionally. I mean, they are born into this world not knowing a lick of any English or any other language, and they have to learn from scratch what it means. So, if they're fed certain things at such a young age, then no, it's not just kids programming. It's teaching them a lesson. It's going to help shape who they will become if, a parent doesn't step in and say, "Oh, I don't want them to watch this," switches TV off. Or if they say, "I want my kids to watch this," switches TV back on. However, there are some times where, yeah, you can get away with the "it's a kids show" argument. For example, I've actually seen a lot of rants about the Fairly Odd Parents, and the people are like, "Oh, Timmy is so selfish. Why doesn't he use his fairies to wish for the cure to cancer?" I have literally seen that, and see, this is where I feel like you can argue it's just a kids show because it's a cartoon. They exist in a universe where cancer doesn't happen. Lucky dogs, but still. Um, like if it's going to bring something that from the real world into it, then yeah, that's when you can say it's just a kids show. But if you're gonna try and like shoot somebody down because they're trying to call out X show for being bad, if you're gonna say, "Oh, it's just for kids," you have to remember, kids are going to absorb it. Kids are going to grow up. Like, if they grow up watching really bad TV shows, they're just gonna be into really bad TV shows. And while that isn't too malicious, it just means that TV's gonna be bad in a little while. If quality in kids' shows doesn't start going up. But, um, additionally, like, some people just seem so okay with showing their kids just terrible programs. Like, even if it's not trying to teach anything or anything like that, like they'll still have these really bad shows. Like maybe it's entirely composed of toilet humor, and there's no jokes, no depth to character, and it's just pretty colors moving on screen. Yeah, try imagining you right now or you in 10, 20, 30 years watching TV, and it is literally just characters running out on the screen with funny sound effects. That is going to be the kids of the future if they just grow up thinking that what they're being shown is the best quality anything. So, and then back to the it's just a kids show argument. Now, like, some people might think, "Oh, well, what am I going to do about it?" Well, here's the thing. You don't have to call a company and say, "Oh, you people are evil. How dare you expose our children to blah, blah, blah." This is where you be the parent, you turn the TV off. Tell them, "I'd rather you not watch this. Because if you don't like what it's showing your kid, then you should have every right to tell the kids, don't watch it." Because, yeah, you're the parent and you want what's best for them, hopefully. And what argues me is, what really aggravates me, sorry about that, is how there's always the extreme spectrum. Like, some people are on the extreme, it's just a kid's show, let it go, blah, blah, blah. And then the other people are, the people who will call the company and start up riots online or right in front of the studio because their kid saw X on a TV show. They're the ones who argue it's teaching them really bad stuff. Like, going back to Timmy, he should wish for the cure to cancer. That way, people stop dying. Or, he should wish for the end of world hunger. All that type of stuff. See, then there's people like me who kind of like to use both arguments depending on the situation. Like, you can say it's just a kid's show when it comes to the argument, why doesn't Timmy wish for the cure to cancer? You can say, you can like put your foot down and get really aggravated at what a kid sees on TV if it's like something way out there. However, like, I find that the anger for your kid saying X is justified when the TV show is clearly for kids. Like SpongeBob, they target 7-year-olds. Fairly Odd Parents, 7-year-olds. So if there's like a really risque joke, then yeah, you can breathe fire for all I care. But if it's something else that is clearly for older audiences, like Adventure Time or a regular show, those are for the big kids. That's where the whole TV PG rating comes in, and you might want to preview that show before setting your 5-year-old, 4-year-old down to watch it while you go clean the house or read a book or whatever parents like to do. So man, to sum up, it's just a kids show. I don't like that argument for a lot of cases because kids will pick up on things, for one. And second of all, it can seriously shape the quality of what we get in the future. I also don't like the people who overreact and say Timmy should wish for the cure to cancer, so I'm using that one so much. Because it's a cartoon, it can go off of its own logic. Like, the middle ground is probably your safest bet, because you can argue in either direction depending on the situation. And that is my 2 cents on the matter. And thanks for listening. Have a nice day.